Friday, if LM, this whole side, is 18, and PM, PQ is a median, so what does that tell me about these two halves, or these two parts?
They're each 9.
Yeah, they're each 9. Okay, the angle of NPQ, so NQP. I was going to say NPQ doesn't work. No, NQP is this angle here. NOL is this angle here. What do I know about these two angles? They're equal. MN is 24 and LQ is 38, and so we want to find PQ, so that's base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 for the median.
It's supposed to be LL.
LO, yes it is, thank you. Fix that. So MN is 24, LO is 38, divided by 2. 62 divided by 2, so PQ is 31. Questions on any of these so far? Okay, MLO is this angle here. LPQ is this angle here. What do I know about those two angles?
Oh, they add up to 180.
They're going to add up to 180, yeah. So, yeah, they're supplementary. So, I'm going to do 180 minus 61, which will give me 119. So, the angles, when you have a trapezoid like this with a median, the angles in the same position, like these, are equal. And then the angles that are kind of like opposite are supplementary, so they'll add up to 180. And then if NQ, that's this part right here, is equal to 7.5, NO is the whole thing, so that would be 7.5 times 2. So that would be 15. Okay, if we have a midsegment that joins two midpoints on the sides of the triangle, it's parallel to the third side and half the length of the third side. So PQ is 1/2 CB. That looks awful. Oh, darn it. I erased what I did not mean to.
Wasn't it already written under there?
Yeah, it was, but it is not what I wanted it to say exactly. Okay, so that's this one. Now, if I put a midpoint here, right, and say that these two sides are equal, and I call this like D or something, and I draw that line, DP would be 1/2 of AB, and DP would be parallel to AB. And then you get another one between D and Q. So every triangle, there are going to be 3 midsegments. Okay. And each one will be half of that third side. So DP would be half of AB, DQ would be half of AC. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so if UV is 11, that's this whole part right here. What's XV? And XY? Oh wait, no, sorry, not XY. So if I put a line here and I say this is the mid 5.5, sorry. I'll make it bigger. Better? Okay, so if I put a midpoint here and I connect these 2 points, and I just call this Z. How long is ZY?
Oh, 5.5.
5.5. Because this length is equal to half of this whole length, so it's also equal to this segment. So you end up with, in this case, I've got 1, 2, 3 sections that are all the same length. Do you see that? Because this will also be 5.5 here, and then this will also, so you have 1, 2, 3 that are all 5.5. Okay, if AC is 12, how much is DE?
6.
If AD is 5, how much is AB?
10.
If DE is 14, what's AC?
28.
Now we get to the one that's a little bit more complicated. If BC, so that's this whole thing right here, is 4x minus 2, and EC is 3x plus 1, we're going to find BE. Well, BE is the same thing as EC, right? And EC is 3x plus 1. So first we have to find x. Does that make sense so far? So we want to find x. BC is 4x minus 2. EC is half of that length. So 4x minus 2 is equal to 2 ECs. Do you see what I mean? So you're going to multiply that by 2 to make them the same. Distribute that 2, and I get 4x minus 2 is equal to 6x plus 2. So I'm just going to rearrange it real quick. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. Okay, got it?
Yep.
So I get 2x plus 2 is equal to negative 2. If I subtract 2 from both sides, I get 2x equals negative 4, so x is equal to negative 2. Now this is actually a mistake on their part, which you'll see in a second. BE is the same as EC, which is 3x plus 1. So I'm going to type in that negative 2. Whoops. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5, and a length cannot actually be negative 5. Do you guys see that? But because we did the work correctly, it's just that was, that should have probably been like a, this should have maybe been a minus 1 and that should have been a plus 2 or something. But in any case, do you understand the process? That's more important than the rationality of the answer. Okay, so we have some triangle inequality theorems. Let's see if I can get this to work actually. Oh, yay. All right. If I call this angle 1 and this is angle 2 and that's angle 3, angle 1 is going to be greater than angle 2 and angle 1 is going to be greater than angle 3. So this outside angle is going to be greater than either inside angle. And that makes sense because remember we had a theorem that said these two added up to make this one, so it would have to be bigger than both of them individually if it's equal to them together. Does that make sense? If I have a triangle, and let's just say I call this side A and this is side B, we'll call this angle A and angle B. Okay, if A is larger than B, then angle A is going to be greater than angle B. So whatever side is the longest, it's across from whatever angle is the largest. If one angle of a triangle is larger than another angle, then the length of the opposite side. So basically, this is if the side is bigger, then the opposite angle is bigger. And then we come over here and we get one that says if the angle is bigger, then the opposite side is bigger. So it goes backwards. So like if plus A, B. So if angle A is greater than angle B, then side A is greater than side B. Whereas back over here it was if the sides were bigger, then the angles were larger. So these are basically saying the same thing. It's just one is starting with sides, the other one's starting with angles. We have another triangle inequality theorem to do with sides. So if I have A, B, and C, A plus B is going to be greater than C, B plus C is going to be greater than A, and A plus C is going to be greater than B. You cannot have a situation where you add up two sides and it's smaller than the third side. That won't work. Okay, so the side angle side inequality theorem. So you have side angle side for congruence, but then we also have side angle side inequality. And I know that's a little confusing, but it's because we go side angle side. And the way this works is A and D are equal, and B is equal to E. So this side is equal to this side, and this side is equal to that side. Okay. But angle 1, well, okay, I'm going to say angle 2. Sorry, angle 2 is greater than angle 1. Then that makes F greater than C. So if you have a triangle that has legs that are the same length, but the angle in between the legs are different, whichever angle is larger, that third side of the other triangle will be larger. So if 2 is bigger than 1, then F is bigger than C. Or if 1 was larger than 2, C would be larger than F. Does that make sense? So this is similar to the side angle side inequality, but it's side 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 inequality. And what that says is if A is equal to D and B is equal to E. So I have A and D are the same, and B and E are the same. And let's say F is larger than C. Then angle 2 is greater than angle 1. So it's basically the exact same as the side angle side. But with side angle side, the angle being larger makes that third side larger. But with side side side, the side being larger makes the angle larger. So what we have is the sum of the lengths of any two sides has to be greater than the length of the third. So can these be lengths of a triangle? We have to check. is 3 plus 4 greater than 5? Yes. But it has to be all sets. So is 4 plus 5 greater than 3? Yeah. And is 5 plus 3 greater than 4? Yes. So yes, this can be a triangle. You have to check all 3 combinations because it might not be necessarily the case that, well, in this case it worked, but maybe this third one didn't work. Then it couldn't be a triangle. So you have to check all 3. Okay, so let's identify the largest angle in A. Yeah, so we're going to find the largest side, which is 23. We go across from that, so it's going to be angle B. And here we're going to identify the shortest side. Well, first we need to find out what is this angle here. So 58 plus 59 is 107. 180 minus 107 is 73. 63, 73. So which angle is smallest? Is 58. So the shortest side is MO. Okay. These are isosceles, right? So that will make this 46. And I can find out what this missing angle is by finding out these 2 angles. Not necessarily 90, because I've got 46 and 51, which is 97. 180 minus 97, that's 83, which makes this 97, which makes this one smaller than 51. Do you guys see that? So this is going to be less than 51, so AB is going to be longer. So I don't even actually have to figure that out. Does that make sense?
Why would it be 46 and 46 then?
Because it's isosceles. Because of the 32 and the 32. But this is not necessarily the angle bisector. So this is not actually necessarily a median. Does that make sense?
What's that at the top? 83 and
97. So,
where did that come from?
because they make a straight line. So if I add those 2 together, I get 180. So it's drawn, it looks like it's a bisector, but it's not actually a bisector. So that's why you have to check the angles to make sure. So AB is actually going to be longer than BC. So this is just some random line. It's not a median, it's not a bisector, it's not special in any way. Which angle is larger, angle 1 or angle 2? 15, 16. So 15 goes with 2, 16 goes with 1. So angle 1 is going to be larger. Slightly.